George Peterkin, in his excellent book Meadows, puts forward the idea that it wasn't really possible to cut grass from grassland to save as fodder for winter for animals before the invention of the scythe, which came at the end of the Iron Age into the Roman period. That's an intriguing theory because it meant the habitat itself only came into existence around that time. When I started scything back in around 2007, I read David Tresemer's book, in which he describes a series of experiments, one done by himself but formerly copying an experiment done by Axel Stensberg in Sweden, where he used a range of historical cutting implements from Stone Age flints through to sickles to cut corn with, and measured the increase in efficiency that each level of technology delivered. So, looking at David Tresemer and Stensberg's experiment, I thought it would be good to replicate that, not just on corn but on grass, really to get the feel, for the practical feel in my hands of what it felt like to attempt to cut grass with a flint sickle or with a Bronze Age tool, and to see how impractical it was, really just to kind of add a bit of proof to that theory. So that's how I started out. I'm sat here in a beautiful Triple S iron meadow in the Forest of Bowland. We're here for the Northern Scythe Festival. The first tool I'm going to try is this one here. Has been knapped by my good friend John Lord. It's a handheld tool, in many ways similar to a hand axe. I draw it through the stems in a slicing, sawing action. It will cut, as you can see. The second type of flint sickle I tried was this one, in which I've got some knap flakes, which I knapped with John Lord's guidance from a flint core, and that is set into a right angle piece of wood held in place by pine tar. The hafting angle that the blade is set up relative to the hand grip is at a rather an acute angle, which is ideal for hooking and severing corn heads, but not ideal for cutting grass. It's a hands and knees job, and it's actually hard work to create any amount of cut crop in any reasonable time frame. This is a replica of the Must Farm sickle, of which there's much speculation as to what its function might be. Now, I'm not suggesting that its function may have been for harvesting grass, far from it, but I just wanted to see what I could do with Bronze Age technology and edge sharpening. This blade has been peened as well as honed to get as keen an edge as I possibly can on the edge there. Again, the blade is set at right angles, as is this one. Both are quite well set up for hooking in and cutting stems of cereal, but neither are set up at very good angles for cutting grass. So, being a soft material, it's quite hard to maintain an edge on it, so I have to hone it regularly with a little sharpening stone. Back in the day, it was said that a man should be able to mow an acre of grass in a day. If this screenshot of a scythe represented the area of an acre, by comparison, a grass hook would only manage a very small patch, maybe the size of a 10 by 10 plot, and would take 20 days to complete. The two flint sickles were fairly similar in performance, but it would take me 40 days of continuous cutting to achieve the same area cut. The Must Farm sickle was least successful, probably because it didn't hold its edge as well as flint, and it would take maybe 50 days to cut the whole acre. As a Bronze Age farmer, I think there would be no way I would even contemplate doing that. As a part of my quest to acquire myself a replica Must Farm sickle, I attended one of James Dilley's bronze sword casting courses. There I could learn about casting implements, obtain a replica and take it home for myself. But in the process I cast and created this rather beautiful Ewart Park replica bronze sword. It's a beautiful thing, but to be honest, I don't really have a use for it, or not a legitimate use anyway. That thought process led me to think, well, what happens if back in the Bronze Age on Must Farm there were some people who had a sword in this hut just in case their settlement was threatened, but had very little practical use for it. But they did have some starving cattle, and they knew that they were going to struggle to feed them through the winter. They thought, what if we cut some of that tall vegetation? The sword is going to be potentially more efficient than that short sickle. Let's give it a swing. And I thought, well, for fun, I shall try exactly the same thing. There is a bit of a curved edge to it, not exactly as a scythe would be, but I thought I'll give it a go. I'll mount it on a snath and see if I can cut grass with it.